Sitting down with the two remaining members of what I consider to be one of the most important rock groups of all time, The Doors. That would be guitarist Robby Krieger and drummer John Densmore. The Doors were founded in 1965 by Jim Morrison, Ray Manzarek, Robby Krieger, and John Densmore, and forever changed the landscape of rock music with their distinctive blend of poetry, improvisation, and raw psychedelic energy. Their timeless hits like Riders on the Storm, Light My Fire, and Break On Through to the Other Side continue to captivate new generations, cementing the Doors' place in rock history. It's a rare opportunity to hear firsthand from Robby and John about the band's legacy and the enduring importance of their work. Here's my interview. John, Robby, welcome.
Thank you.
It's an honor to meet you guys.
Hey, before you drill us, I want to say I'm a fan. Your knowledge of music is like awesome, and I just love all the interviews you've done.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
We are in Sunset Sound here in Los Angeles, and we are in room Studio 1. Your first record was recorded here. How many records did you do at the studio? 2 records. 1967, the first record. Right. How much has this room changed? Let's just start with that. Is this room pretty similar to what it was?
Well, the shape of the room's the same, but it's totally, they've done stuff to make it liver or deader. I don't know. There used to be a cottage cheese ceiling. Do you know that? Remember those?
Yeah.
Asbestos, that's why we're and it was just, there was no wood panels or nothing. It was just really like an office building or something.
Yeah. But the shape's the same, that control room and the couch we sat on, and I'm having an acid flashback.
Okay, where would the drums be set up?
Behind you.
Behind me, okay.
There. Yeah.
And then
and Ray was sort of over there.
Okay.
I would move around different places, but mostly over here.
And Jim was in a vocal booth, sort of here or somewhere down here.
Okay, would Jim typically be in a vocal booth? Is that how recordings would happen then?
Yeah, because we only had 4 tracks, so you couldn't leak. Didn't want to have it leak.
There were a lot of baffles, but we were all together in the same room, which is how to do it.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. Of the people that regularly watch my channel, 58% are actually not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button now. This will help me to get even more of my dream guests and continue to grow my channel. Thank you. Okay, let's back up. Just in general, because we're talking about stuff that happened a long time ago. 1967 was almost 60 years ago. When you guys would write songs, would they typically be written in a room together where you're jamming, you come up with an idea, somebody has a riff, or you write a song at home, Light My Fire, you come in and say, hey, I've got this song and I have 1 verse or something, or
Well, Light My Fire was written in my house where I grew up in the Palisades, which has burned down.
So when we get up there, we'll see if it's still standing.
No, I don't think so.
The stuff
I should have said, don't light my fire, instead of light my fire.
I would say by the 3rd album, the pressure of getting hits makes you write in the studio. But before then, we wrote in the rehearsal room primarily, And he'd have a fairly completed song, or Jim would have just some lyrics and Ray'd have a riff, and we.
Yeah, at first Jim had about 10 songs that he had just came into his head. He wasn't a musician or anything, so.
Oh, let me say, he said he thought of melodies to remember the lyrics, but he couldn't play a chord.
Okay.
But my God, the melodies. Before you, I can't sing. Slip into unconsciousness. That's a fucking complicated
melody.
Yeah, it would just come into his head. He would hear it like it was a concert.
Yeah.
And then it was up to Ray and John and I to make it sound how he thought it would. So that was in the beginning, and as time went on, I started writing more of the songs by myself, and then he would put some words to it, or we would write, the 2 of us wrote quite a few songs together at my house, which burned down. So it was all different ways.
Paul worked with you for every record but the last, was it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get to work with him, and what did producers do back then? Like, what was his role?
Well, I didn't know that you could get a more dampened drum sound, and that sounded better. I thought you just play live. So I was apprehensive of that, but then I learned to love it. And Paul kind of taught us how to get good sound in the studio. Bruce Botnick was the engineer.
Mm-hmm. And what was amazing was that when I was in high school up at Menlo Park, a lot of the guys in that school were from back east. And Paul was from back east, so he produced all this stuff for Elektra, which I just was a big fan of, like, you know, Kerner, Ray and Glover and
Paul Butterfield,
Jug Band, all this stuff. And I was listening to all this stuff, and wow, this Paul Rothschild guy must be cool. You know? And then when he became our producer, it was like a miracle.
Heaven.
It was like amazing.
But Paul had a strong personality.
Okay.
And so I would say he, after a while, got a little dictatorial. And how many takes did we do on Unknown Soldier? This was not here. That was a TTNG. 50?
You know, the first album, we didn't have time to mess around like that. So, you know, the whole album took a week and a half. But as time went on and more money was available, Paul kind of went crazy, and he would take days to get a drum sound and stuff like that.
And so then finally, the last album we produced with Bruce Botnick, and Paul, what did he say? Riders on the Storm was cocktail music. Whoops, missed that one. And Bruce would say, I'd be tapping around for 20 minutes, and Bruce would say, okay, you got it. You know how to do this. Whereas it would be hours before, you know.
Yeah. Would you do takes until you got the right one, or would you edit together if you had the good beginning of one and then the ending of another one, but they edit the tape and just connect, you know? We got everything but the, you know.
Both ways. Both.
Okay, so both ways. And they would edit the actual multi-track tape.
Yeah, Paul was an expert editor.
Okay.
He showed me a picture of when he was doing Paul Butterfield.
Yeah.
And there was tape, tape glued up on the wall all around the room. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
You know, it
amazing,
was
amazing.
Tape, cut it with tape,
the razor
blue.
Yeah, that was before the
Botnick
digital
was technically great.
And
I had a big mouth about timing, so I would be there with all the edits, you know, because it has to be absolutely precise or it ain't gonna happen.
Now, what about mixing? Would you guys be there for the mixing, and would everyone have a hand on the desk and be involved in that?
yeah,
We didn't touch the desk too much. Jim didn't give a shit about it. He was too technical. He was off having a drink.
Okay.
You know, but Ray and I and Robby mixed everything with Rothschild. I mean, it's going to be there forever, locked down. So very important.
And what about, you do a take of a song, do you go back and listen to it? Do you listen on the headphones? Do you go in the control room? Did people go in the control room often back then?
oh yeah,
No headphones.
No headphones.
I mean, maybe recording, but not to listen.
How would the recording process go with a song, typically?
Well, I mean, it depends on how the song was written originally. You know, I mean, stuff that we had been playing, like at the Whiskey for a year, it was just automatic, you know. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, new stuff that we just come up with, you know, it could go a million different ways. So it often did.
The melody to Riders on the Storm was
Ghost Riders.
Ghost Riders in the Sky. We were jamming on do dum do dum do 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 do, and it morphed into dum 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 dum. It just morphed, and that happened like that. Other times, Robby had a pretty complete song, and we'd tweak it.
In the Doors movie, when that was made,
Which one?
The Oliver Stone Doors movie.
There is a When You're Strange document, and Johnny Depp.
Light My Fire. In the movie, your character says, I've got this thing, you pull out a handwritten piece of paper with lyrics on it, and you start playing A minor, F sharp minor, and you sing your melody, and then the Jim Morrison character comes out and he's like, okay, yeah, that's good. And he starts singing along. Is any of that true?
Yeah, in fact, that was one thing I wanted to get right with, Oliver. So I went to his house and made sure he knew how that one had to happen.
It's just like that. I mean, I do
almost just like that.
Oh,
there was a few.
I do a Latin thing, and Ray'd say, "Hey, wait a minute, take a break. I've got this intro." Da, 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 da.
Okay, so that's true then. He came up with that.
That's not true, John.
Okay.
Well, that's my remembrance.
Remember that? That's because you saw the movies.
This is what I want to hear.
Good.
No,
Robbie, okay, what's the real
All
story?
right, wait, maybe that was at your parents' house. Where was
What
he
happened was-
working on that? It was because I was stealing your mom's Pepperidge Farm cookies. See, it's all coming back. While Ray was working on that damn intro. Never mind, Rick.
No, what happened was I had come up with the chords for that intro, when I first wrote the song. I wanted to use a lot of chords in my first song ever, so I used every chord I knew, which was about 14 chords. Yeah, circle of fourths, actually. So I had all these chords and didn't really know where to use them in the song, so we first, just did the normal song, don't baby light my fire, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh, by the way, I've got this, this other part. And so we ended up using it to get out of the instrumental break back into the third verse. So we played it that way at the Whiskey for a year. Then it was Paul Rothschild's brilliant idea to use those chords for the intro, not only the intro, but the outro. So it happens 3 times. And as Ray played it every night at the Whiskey, he would come up with more little Bach parts, and it wasn't just, I'll do this. It took a long time.
Yeah, until he actually settled on the exact
that's an amazing part.
It is an amazing part. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually play that part right now. So
and then I said, hey, Ray, I'm going to do a drum crack right before you do that. And then when we do it at the end, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah, and you came in early.
Yeah, that's how I heard it.
let me play a little bit of it and we'll talk about it here.
You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
When you hear that, are you taken back to that time period, or is this almost like listening to someone else's song?
No, that's our song. I can't get enough of it. And the long solos, they evolved later in clubs, pretty much, before we recorded here.
I mean, did we even have a solo in the beginning? Probably not. No, that was I think Ray's idea, because we loved Coltrane, and those are the chords Coltrane uses on
my favorite things. Only that's in 3 and this is in 4.
And his is an E and ours is an A.
And then after we recorded it here in this room, that night, we go home.
No, it wasn't that night. That was after we did the end, not Light My Fire.
Well, okay. But I still think that he thought Light My Fire was too hot because he broke into this studio and sprayed it down with fire repellent.
Yeah, including my guitar.
Really?
Is that true?
And
including my
thank
guitar.
God Tootie, the owner, and Jack Holzman, president of Elektra, sort of paid for it and didn't dump the band and just kind of covered it up. Thank you.
This track, the basic rhythm track of this, is just one pass? Two passes. And is it an edit, or is it the second pass, or one of the passes?
I think it was not an edit.
No.
The end was made of an edit from two different ones.
We did it a lot live.
And the cues...
Evolution. Like, I don't know why. I started doing this. There's 3 against 4, which is a rhythm from Haitian voodoo ceremonies and possession. And then we all started doing that, and then we kick it back into the 4.
Right. You play that key, that's the cue to go back into the tune again.
Right.
Let's go to Coltrane for a second. Okay, that was music of that era as well, John Coltrane. Tell me about the influence of that and jazz on the Doors.
Oh, it was huge. I mean, he was in the jazz class.
I saw Coltrane 2 blocks away, Shelley's Manhole, many times.
Wow.
Selma and Cahuenga. Improvisation is the main fiber of jazz, and we wanted to be a rock band, but when I met Ray, he knew all this jazz shit. Oh, okay, here we go. This was before Robby. I go down to Ray's parents' garage to jam with this band.
Yep.
And Jim is so fucking shy, he won't sing. He's in the corner. So the first song, I say, hey Ray, you know all blues by Miles Davis? He goes, yeah. And we played it. That's our roots.
Now, Robby, did you ever see Coltrane play?
I don't think so. Did we ever go see him?
No.
We saw Roland Kirk. We saw...
You took me to see Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry, and Josh White, and the folk thing.
Right.
I had been going to jazz stuff with Krieger.
You took me to see Wes Montgomery.
That's the problem. Damn it. So I'm jumping here, but Ray and I are so enamored with Robby's fingers because he's got these long nails from flamenco, who I described.
I just broke one yesterday.
In one of my 3 self-centered memoirs, that it looks like Robby's, like a crab is crawling across the stream. So he starts soloing with that rather than a pick. Then you get so obsessed with pick players like Wes Montgomery.
No, he never used a pick.
Well, I don't know. Ray and I didn't like you going to the pick.
I never went to the pick with the Doors.
Well, I
never.
Know, later.
Later.
Go back, Robby. It's a unique thing.
I actually have gone
to
back.
Solo.
I actually have gone back to them.
Good.
What was your first kit that you would have played here in the studio?
Well, I had a Gretsch kit in the very beginning, but
just like that.
First, no, this is Ludwig. I went to Ludwig.
Like a broadcaster kit or something like that?
Like this.
Okay.
3-piece, and it's like a little jazz set, and that's my thing. I sort of thought, when I saw Billy Cobham, holy shit, I'm not allowed to have 2 bass drums until I can play as fast on one as he can. I never got there.
And then what would be your cymbal setup? And
Rivets on the ride from Oscar Peterson's drummer Ed Thigpen.
Yeah.
Hey man, and here's another thing. All the drum heads were
calfskin. Okay.
And then plastic came in, and we all went for it because you didn't have to constantly tune because of the skin.
Bottom heads off.
Bottom heads off. Okay. That's me. Levon Helm left the calfskin heads on all his drums.
Okay.
That's why there's and I kept one on the floor tom, sort of. And it's the opening of Hello, I Love You. That's a cow talking back.
Okay. Did you change your heads a lot back then or not?
I hated it when they broke. I loved beat-up heads. They have personality.
Robby, what about your guitar strings? Did people change their strings all the time back then, or rarely?
I never did.
Okay. This is really interesting. Did you use round wounds or flat wounds? What?
Just regular round
wounds. Okay. Nines. That was my next question. What amplifier would you have been using back in the studio?
For the studio is always pretty much a twin.
Okay. Would it be in an ISO booth or out here in the room with baffles?
I think it was out here. Do you remember? Remember that?
No, but I do remember the first time I had heard bottleneck guitar was from him, and he was telling me about, I don't know, Blind Lemon Jefferson or whatever. And then he, in my opinion, was the first one to use it electric, which was the reason Ray and Jim had Robby in the band. They heard the bottleneck and wanted it on every song, you know.
When you guys were recording in here, you're using headphones, right? Can you hear Jim well? I mean, how were headphone mixes back then?
They were better than they are today, I think.
Really?
I always kept one ear off to feel the room. And the other one to get the cues from Jim in the booth or whatever.
And as far as effects that I'm hearing when I hear the mixed record, are the effects put on afterwards? Like, what would your effects?
I mean, my only effect was a Gibson Maestro, fuzz tone.
Fuzz tone.
So as things started coming out, different pedals and stuff, how would you incorporate things?
I mean, I pretty much stuck to that sound, you know. But yeah, I would try different stuff, like you know, anything that would come along, I would try. But very often, I wouldn't end up using it.
It's not like today when there's 400 buttons on the floor and wafflers, and you know, Robby had a couple, but when the fuzz tone came in, I thought that is the worst fucking sound I've ever heard. And it became number one on Hello, I Love You. Wake up, John.
Did you guys know when you were making the first record that you were going to have a hit record?
We pretty much knew about Light My Fire because we played it every night.
Because live
at
reaction
the Whiskey, and the reaction was always the same. The only problem was we couldn't put it out because it was too long.
Yeah.
You know, it took us a year or so to say, okay, we'll cut the damn instrumental out. Yeah. Our favorite part of the song.
When he first played it, wherever it was, your parents' house or somewhere, I went, oh fuck, there's something there.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't say it, I just felt it. And the edit was just castrating.
Yeah.
But you know, there was this 3-minute limit, and Paul just waffed out all the solos.
Talk about this 3-minute limit for people that don't know. Why was there a 3-minute limit?
Well, for AM radio, there was FM radio was just starting, so they could play whatever they want. But you know, for AM radio, you had to stick to 3 minutes or less. So the only way we could get Light My Fire on the radio was to cut out the middle part, which we finally did. You know, our first single was Break On Through.
Right. Which was...
Didn't do that.
You know, got to number 11, and we called up the stations, hey, this is French Schwartz playing
Don't tell me that stuff was going on even back then.
Shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But it was, you know, the sophisticated...
And they busted us, too. They said, okay, stop calling.
Yeah.
We know who you are.
You know, it was this bossa nova I picked up from a girl from Ipanema that at the time it was coming up from Brazil. And I made it fast, and it was kind of sophisticated. I think it was too, for a big hit record. Now it's a cult.
Yeah, it was too sophisticated for AM radio hit,
So
I think.
The exciting thing was FM is starting to blossom, and we're playing the long version. We're playing the 6-minute version, and then they started competing at that, and the whole FM.
Yeah, there was this guy named Dave Diamond. Diamond and the Diamond Mine.
Right.
KBBQ was the first FM station in LA. It was in the Valley.
Okay.
And he would call us and say, hey, every time I play that Light My Fire, I get 1 million calls. It's a hit. It's a hit.
Cut it down. We went over to his house. I remember that.
Yeah.
I said, cut that down. Okay. And then the FM goes nuts with the long version, which made us so happy to break that barrier.
The Ed Sullivan thing about the lyric change in the song, is that true?
It was, but it wasn't like the big deal that they make about it, you know. I mean, I thought they were kidding, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
You know, and really? I said, fuck it, let's just do it the way we do it, you know.
And afterwards...
Did anyone say anything afterwards?
Yeah, they said, you boys will never do this show again. And I think Jim said, well, we just did it, so we don't care.
No, that was in the movie.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm an AI person right now.
I like this.
I'm fake.
I like this.
No, this guy, Bob Precht, he was the producer of the show.
Yeah.
He was the one that...
I do remember Mr. Sullivan coming around when we were rehearsing saying, you know, you boys, you look good when you smile. You should smile.
That's
tonight.
true. That's in the movie too.
That's true.
And that is true.
And that is true.
Yeah, if you notice, I have this goofy smile on my face in the real thing.
What was it like to be on the Ed Sullivan Show?
It was exciting. It was, I mean, you know, it was kind of a corny show.
Yeah, but your parents, right? That was like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you're national TV.
You're on the Ed Sullivan Show. There's nothing bigger.
Elvis, the Beatles, us, great.
Right.
Okay.
Stone.
The Stones. I mean, you've made it when you're on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, exactly.
Did Jim care about stuff like that, or Ray? Did Jim care about you being on that, or did
Ray did? Ray did more than Jim.
Yeah, I remember we had our first giant riot at a giant concert, and afterwards Jim said, okay, we've done that. Let's go to an island and start over, you know, which is wonderful in a way, because I don't know, it's over and over the same giant.
Which was that?
Think about Stephen Martin. He quit at the peak as a comedian. Wow.
Was Jim a fun guy to hang out with?
He could be. He could be the greatest guy ever to hang out with, and then sometimes he could be the worst.
And what would be the difference in those two?
Alcohol.
Okay. So became a different person when he would drink.
Jimbo, we called the other guy.
Okay.
I mean, his real problem was the Oedipus complex. He had the worst Oedipus complex that I've ever seen.
That's why he wouldn't let her into the gig, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Did Jim have times of being just a normal guy that you could just hang out with?
Yeah.
Yeah, more in the beginning.
Okay.
Especially in the beginning. But yeah, he was great to hang out with, you know.
He was provocative. He liked pushing buttons. He liked seeing where people's edges were. But, you know, as his self-destruction increased, we kind of backed away.
Okay, so I'm going to play some more stuff here. I'm going to start. We're still on the first album here.
There you
Since
go.
we talked about this.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah.
Robby, are you hitting your fuzz then in the chorus part?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I stole that lick from Bloomfield.
And it sounds like there's an echo on your guitar there in the verse.
Probably. Yeah.
That's
This
post.
famous room over there.
They're gonna let us in there.
Chamber there?
Yeah.
Would your live take sound identical to this, pretty much?
Not as much reverb overall, but
Yeah.
that was the band, yeah.
And
Just Ray's left
I mean,
hand,
we
no
only
bass.
had 4 tracks, you know.
okay, so Jim, when he's doing this, he would do a scratch vocal, then he'd come back in and do a final vocal?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, we really only had two tracks, because it would be the organ and guitar on one track,
Right.
one side, and on the other side is the
Bass and drums,
Bass and
or
drums.
the keyboard bass and drums. Why
and the voice in the middle.
Yeah.
middle.
You and Ray should have been split.
Exactly.
But God knows.
Why the fuck?
Whatever.
Terrible.
You know, I mean, it was our biggest record ever, and it's been downhill. ever since. It's not technology, is it? Right?
Not technology, no. But you didn't think about that, right? There's like people recorded on 4-tracks, so that's what you had. That was
we ping-ponged like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, before that it was 2-track, so we were lucky. And then the second album was 8-track.
It was so exciting.
And then every album
16.
after that.
The second album was just a year later, right?
Yeah. No, we never got to 16, John. 8-track was
okay.
Bruce told me that.
So 8-track, that must have seemed like, what are we going to do with all 8 tracks?
Right? That was here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that gave Paul the time and to trials.
Paul Beaver, who invented the Moog, had it in here and was, Strange Days, Jim's vocal, we put it through there. And did we hear Sgt. Pepper while we were doing the second album? I think. And we were, oh God. And then we started doing backward keyboard tracks, and this place became the 5th door. It was fun.
What was it like to hear the Beatles then for you guys? I mean, was it as influential with you guys as it was with other groups at the time period? I mean, obviously Sgt. Pepper's was a couple years, it was just really the same time as the first record.
I mean, yeah, we were definitely influenced by it, and more than we should have, maybe. I mean, with the horns and strings on the 4th album, that was because of the Beatles, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Stones did the same thing.
When I first saw the Mop Tops on Ed Sullivan, I was a jazz snob, and I was very aware of Elvis and Chuck Berry, of course, but it's and then I saw these guys, and I went, what is this, And then I noticed the melodies were so gorgeous, and I went, oh, fuck. And then the Stones became idols. We want to do that.
When I hear this, is that pretty much what you guys sounded like live? When I'm listening to these songs off the first record, that's your live, your lives,
very close. But every night we'd play the songs different, so it wouldn't be the exact same licks, it wouldn't be the exact same vocal. That was what was fun about it. It was always, every night was different.
Okay, and what were all the clubs you guys were playing? The Whiskey, what were all the big clubs that were around?
Well, the Whiskey was
it.
Most important.
That was the biggie.
Sea Witch.
Yeah, Lido's, little places. Once we got to the Whiskey, everybody played there, and we were the house band for everybody. Van Morrison, the Byrds, the Seeds, Frank Zappa, whatever. It's great.
How did you guys get gigs when you first started?
Well, you and Jim would drive around begging.
We'd go to these bars on Hollywood Boulevard. I know you never had a band, but we could get out of here.
When you got a gig, were you psyched? You go back to your practice space or call the other people? Like, oh my God, I got a gig.
Hell yeah.
It was amazing, right?
Sure. I mean, in those days it was a lot easier to get gigs than today, I'm sure, but you could actually do it. You can, just walk into a bar and say, hey, I've got this band, and you actually had a chance of being.
But you wouldn't even have a demo or anything though, right?
No.
You just talked.
Well, actually we did have a demo.
Okay.
Remember?
Well, yeah. Before Robby.
That was before I was in the band. They had
6 songs. Ray and his 2 brothers and Jim. It was okay.
Good enough to get you guys.
I don't know.
We didn't use it to get. Not good enough to get us gigs.
So who would come to these gigs? When you're an unknown band, would you start in the middle of the week or anything?
I mean, there was the hippie set of the Sunset Strip. There we go to all the clubs, and then if they like you, they'll come back.
Yeah.
That was the test.
The London Fog was down from the Whiskey, and we auditioned there. We had all Ray and Jim's UCLA friends come. They hired us, and then the next night it was empty, but it was blocked down from the Whiskey, and the promoter from the Whiskey came in and
When you guys got signed, what was the process like then? Did you guys have to get a lawyer to negotiate your contract?
Yeah, my dad was a good business guy, and he had this lawyer, Max Fink.
Okay.
Max Fink.
Did Max have any experience in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, he represented Desi and Lucy.
Okay. That's
Pretty
that's
good.
big.
Yeah. Yeah, and most groups didn't. You know,
Right.
we were lucky that way.
Yeah.
And what we were really lucky is that our first contract with Elektra was only a 3-album deal.
And typically, how many record deals? 5
At least
records, right?
5. So we were able to renegotiate quickly, more than most groups.
Abe Summer became our lawyer somewhere in there after Max, and Abe said,
Yeah, he's the one that got the 3
he
years.
said to Elektra, okay, Light My Fire is a big record. Give the boys their gold back. And Elektra, Jack Holzman, gave us the publishing back. Thank you,
they bought our
Jack.
whole publishing for $5,000, which was normal in those days.
Yeah.
But to give it back?
Yeah, that was kind of unheard of, right?
Yeah, Jack Holzman was the coolest.
And why did they give it back?
Because they wanted us back.
Yeah.
They wanted
Integrity.
us back.
We were on Columbia, and before Elektra, big company, and they dropped us.
And why did they drop us? Remember that?
I don't know why. Did you?
Billy James was our good guy that got to deal with Columbia.
Right.
And he goes, boys, I'm going into a meeting. And, you know, because they have to decide whether to keep you or not. You know, every month they would throw what's up on the wall and keep the rest of them. So Jim goes, oh, I want to go. And he took a bunch of ass. And the next day we were off the list.
When something like that would happen, what would you guys say to him?
Well, no, it wasn't the next day. Now, let me correct you. Your Hollywood movie here. I went into Billy James' office at Columbia sometime when we were playing the London Fog, and he went to the bathroom, and I saw on his desk, drop list, pickup list, and we were on the drop list.
No.
And that night
Did you just change it?
I told you guys at the London Fog, but I'd already kind of digested it and said, don't be depressed, we'll be okay. But it was depressing, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Columbia?
Yeah.
Fuck, they don't get it.
Yeah, but that's why we were on the drop list, because Jim went in and who knows what he did.
And Jack Holzman got it.
Well, you know why he got it?
Because of the drumming.
No. Whiskey Bar.
Yeah, that's
Whiskey
correct.
Bar.
That's correct.
You know, we were doing these Kurt Weill songs.
We covered this.
Which no rock and roll band
German
would ever.
opera. It was so esoteric. And
this guy,
he was a smart
Holzman was
guy.
like that. He was, you know, he did.
Worldly.
They put out all the flamenco stuff.
Yeah, right.
Great stuff.
None Such was sort of like the first world music label.
Yeah, we were only the second rock act, and the first being Arthur Lee and Love.
Yeah, Arthur. R.I.P. Arthur. He told Jack to go see us at Whiskey.
Wow.
Thank you.
Was it him or Ronnie Herron?
He confirmed it, whether it was her or not. And then we rocketed past Love. I still feel guilty.
Love was a great band.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Tell me more about Ray. What was Ray's? Any interviews that I've seen with him, he seems like a really interesting guy. Like he was a very interesting guy. What was he like?
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly gregarious, worldly, smart, wonderful, and driven.
Yeah. Well, he was the father figure. He was older than us, you know. So he was, you know, and he was kind of married to Dorothy. Were they married?
No, but they were, you know.
And we looked up to him, and Jim lived with them
Yeah.
at the time.
And Dorothy.
But that didn't last.
Yeah.
Don't ask why.
Oh, never. Oh God. Yeah.
But Ray was. I've never met anybody like him. You know, great keyboard.
Great keyboard.
I mean, the way he did the piano, bass, and the organ at the same time. You mentioned, you saw the Hollywood Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Remember in the very beginning when he's starting Music's Over? It's just him, man, doing that. Yeah. And John waited about 2 minutes too long. I think you were just obsessed with what he was doing.
Jim, as you know, took acid and didn't tell us. We're at the Hollywood fucking Bowl. And when Ray's doing the solo intro, and I'm just hitting the hi-hat, and then when we hit it with your guitar and Jim's big scream, Jim was like waffling around. I'm waiting for him to get close to the microphone so the timing is correct. I didn't know that.
That's a good experience.
I was so frustrated. But, you know, I mean, Ray splitting his brain into two musicians, fucking his left hand and me are the rhythm section.
Sure.
And it was heaven. I mean, it was difficult because he'd get excited when he soloed with this, and then the bass player would speed up or whatever. It's like a what? But it was open. I don't know.
It really gave us not only room, but it gave us a certain sound.
A unique sound because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that's a thing that's out of jazz too. The organ trios that you have, the organ players, Jimmy Smith or Mel Ryan, people like that would play the bass like that. But on some of your records, you would have a real bass guitar.
Right.
Why would that be the case? I always wondered that.
The pluck of a string has more punch, and Moogs hadn't come around. So Larry Knechtel overdubbed some shit. Robby overdubbed bass on Backdoor Man, right?
Soul Kitchen.
Soul Kitchen. Just give it into the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we always had a bass player come in after that.
Yeah.
Doug Luban did the second and third album. Jerry Schiff, who was Elvis's guy, he played on L.A. Woman.
Harvey Brooks.
Now, when they would come in, when you'd have a session guy come in like that, would they play on the tracking date?
Yeah, they would play with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them would really add to, you know, like Doug Luban, great stuff he did on Love Me Two Times.
So I made this choice on Love Me Two Times. It's a shuffle. That's the way a regular drummer would play it. I don't know why, but I thought I'm going to follow Robbie's line that he stole from Kerner Glover.
Let me.
This is what I did. I followed the whole melody rather than play a typical 4/4 shuffle.
Wow.
I don't know what, but it
sounded like other ones.
Okay, so you're left-handed.
Like Ringo.
Right.
I play drums right-handed, even though I'm left-handed.
Do you lead with your left hand?
He
leads with his left hand.
He does, and that gives it this Ringo feel.
Yeah.
Keltner and I have talked about that a lot. I lead with my right, but it was hard because my left had power from being left-handed.
Yes.
The 16th notes are on the right cymbal, and yet, boy, this guy had to catch up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Break On Through, or fucking L.A. Woman. Oh my God, I can't play these songs anymore hardly, you know.
Did you ever play open-handed on the hi-hat like that? Both ways.
Press rolls, I stole from Art Blakey. I put in several songs. You got an old school grip.
Yeah.
Stewart does both, right?
Stewart does both, yeah.
Me too.
Was anyone else in the band left-handed, just out of curiosity? No. Let me play Love Me Two Times here.
Love me 2 times, baby. Love me twice today. Love me 2 times, girl. I'm gone away. Love me 2 times, girl. 1 for tomorrow, 1 just for today. Love me 2 times, I'm gone away. Love me.
Who's playing bass on this?
Doug Luban.
Yeah.
Great stuff, huh?
Beautiful.
Great stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And the horn line, the rhythm of the ba, 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 it's the same.
Yeah,
that thing again.
Yeah,
I don't know
the cross rhythm like that.
You know, in Light My Fire solos and this.
Yeah.
In when the music's over, we're doing it again. Da, 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 da.
Oh, wow, I didn't
It's like
realize
That
that.
polyrhythm.
we didn't know, but it's that kind of a possession rhythm. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful. Yeah.
When you'd come in to play bass with you guys, would you have a chart? Or would you just listen to the song? Is this
Sometimes
more of a
chord
blues?
chart. Maybe you'd scribble down chords now and then.
I don't.
Well, we are. That's why we're together. We conflict.
I think with Harvey, Brits like to write down stuff. Yeah.
When you listen to this, do you ever say, God, I wish I did this again? Does anything in any of these songs bother you, or did it bother you?
It bothers me that the organ and guitar are on one side.
Okay.
Oh, does that bother me?
Okay.
Yeah, and it bothers me that our songs were probably the lowest volume of anything coming out of the radio.
Yeah.
Because Bruce liked to mix with, he liked a lot of headroom, so he didn't use compression very much. So, which is great, you know, but when it comes out of the car radio, it's not as loud as other stuff. I mean, it gets loud later in the song maybe, but that used to
Well,
piss
that's
me
the
off.
dynamics of jazz, you know. We're not.
Right, exactly.
And if it's all, I mean, I like the punks and grunge, but my whole thing is contrasts, silence and sound, and then you get all the emotions.
When Jim would do a vocal take like this, would you guys be there when he's doing his vocals, or would he not want you around?
No, we were there mostly.
Yeah.
How many takes would he do?
As many as he would. Paul wanted him to do as many as possible.
Well, in the beginning, a few, and then as
the first album was maybe 2 takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second album was maybe a lot more. And just kept going from there, because, you know, later on Jim wouldn't be around as much when we're writing the songs, so he'd have to make something up later. And
Paul
we would spend a lot of time in the studio going through his poetry books, and
Paul would have to cut together takes more. And,
Okay.
you know,
but a lot of good stuff came out that way.
Jim was an amazing singer. And
Tell me about it.
never had any throat trouble like Ray Slick or whoever. Sang from the bowels. It sounded like he's ripping his lungs out.
yeah.
How did he sung obviously
Ever
from
notice
here.
how big his neck was?
True.
I mean, he
had
had
a big neck.
He could have played football or something. But he, no, I mean, I've had so many people sing Doors songs with me, and none of them can do it as good as him.
Just
Never, ever.
gifted baritone.
In the Doors movie, at the beginning, he's very shy about singing. Was he like that at first?
Yeah, he was.
He faced us in the London fog, like we were rehearsing. The audience, oh, look at his back. And then he got the courage to turn around. And I thought, fuck, this is not the next Mick Jagger. I don't know. And then I realized, oh, he's sort of developing this persona, like my chord is a snake and he's the lizard king or something. So, wow, something going on here.
So even being in the band, you guys were kind of like people in the audience, right? You having this reaction to him, that he was this unique talent.
We never knew what he was going to do most of the time, right? It was just like, oh my God.
Did you dread that also?
Not dread, but worry. What kind of mood is he going to be in tonight? Okay, right?
Yeah.
Did he ever not show up to a show or anything?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah, actually he was, despite all that abuse.
No, there's nowhere he would rather be, but,
No.
you know, on stage.
New Orleans was our last gig, and I had been lobbying to Robby and Ray to pull in the live plug because it's self-destruction. We were so great, and then in New Orleans, he was so drunk we couldn't even finish the show, and we took a break.
Who was the person that would talk with Jim? Was Ray, since he was older than you guys, would he be the kind of the, you said, father figure of the band?
In the beginning, yeah. But as time went on, nobody could talk to him.
Right. Yeah.
Was it frustrating?
Yeah, but you know, man, it was the 60s, you know, we thought, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. It's crazy, everything's cool, you know.
And also, we had a hunch we were making some good stuff. Mm-hmm. And our karma was to have this kamikaze maniac singer, but he had these pipes and these lyrics and melodies. Oh my God, this guy's gifted.
Yeah, it was worth it. Anything.
I mean, you know,
we would have done anything to keep it going.
Yeah, third album, I threw my sticks down. I quit in the middle of the studio. I came back the next day. How am I going to give that up? I mean, this is like a gift. To make music, a living and making music? Shit.
When you guys first heard a song on the radio, was it Light My Fire? What did you hear on the radio first?
Break On Through.
Break On Through. Okay, when you heard it on the radio, you're driving in your car?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you freak out? Must have been weird, right?
I said, oh, that is so low. Why is it?
Back to the volume, right?
Yeah.
It came after another song, and your first thing is like, why is it so quiet?
Right.
I roll the window down and say, hey, that's me, you know? I was pretty excited, even though it was low.
Jeez. Doesn't sound low now. As they remaster it,
Yeah, it's better. And if you noted, you probably didn't, but Light My Fire, for instance, was down a half step.
Yeah.
Because of the tape machines in those days weren't that great, and when we were mixing it, it was too slow on this side, and so in fact it might be a whole step down. Yeah, it's an A flat, and you know, a lot of people.
But you played it in A minor.
Yeah. But when it came out of the radio, you could tell it's slow. It was kind of slow. It was
perfection.
Annoying.
I went to college. I started college in 1980. So, you know, Jim passed away in 71. You guys were a massively important band to me, and a band that I listened to all the time in college. And
I'm glad we could ruin your life.
And one of my favorite songs.
Oh, Indian Summer, that was the song, remember?
That's right.
That was the first song we recorded here, and it was in the
That's right. That's right.
Other one.
Which had this raga tuning. Oh,
drop Z.
My daughter said, Jim's voice scares me, when she was 8.
On this song?
Yeah.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
How would that be scary?
Wait a minute.
This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the end of everything that stands, the end, no safety or surprise, the end, I'll never look into your eyes again.
The reason I just jumped up
Is because the snares were rattling. Yes.
And on that song, I made this choice of not playing snares because of Robby's dark, moody raga sound. I'm doing tablas on drums.
The intro guitar part there, it's so perfectly played, Robby. Are you playing with a click track or anything, or no? Nobody.
What is
Okay,
that?
so
What?
let me.
Never heard of it.
I always ask people this. Did you guys ever play with a click track? Was there such a thing? So I would say
when drum machines were invented, Ringo said, "I'm the click track." Exactly.
What's fascinating, because throughout the interviews I've done, if I had to say the people that played with click tracks, it's such a small percentage that people just would have a really great internal sense of time. Your time on that is so good. You guys played this a lot live, right? So when you played something a lot live and then you go into the studio to record it, is it difficult to settle on something when you're improvising a lot? Or was this worked out where you played this intro riff exactly the same every time?
It's different every time.
Different every time.
I wish I could play that exactly the same.
How different would it be live?
Not much.
Not at all. I think he's wrong.
I mean, I
the
didn't get
intro-
the exact same notes.
Not exactly.
No, but
What was different
the
was
mood was the same.
the mood. Okay. There's a poetry section in the middle where Jim would improvise, and then when we recorded it here, he settled on "Ride the Snake" and whatever.
Yeah, I mean we did 2 takes of the end.
2 takes.
And we used both. There's a.
Yeah, exactly.
See if you can figure out where the cover is.
Where did you think of doing drop D? Was that just something that was common, or?
Not really. Where did I get that?
Drop D.
Drop D, he's dropping the low E string down to D, and that was not a common thing,
Well,
really.
both E strings. The top,
Both E
top
strings.
one and the bottom.
Double D, I guess they call that.
Wasn't it Ravi Shankar influenced?
Yeah.
But did someone do that and you thought, oh, I'm going to try that?
No.
You just did it yourself.
Yeah.
And that intro, I just did a little tambourine. And then when the groove starts, I do this Chico Hamilton bell thing. Just it's this mood, that goes with it. We loved Robby and I went to Ravi Shankar's Kanara School of Indian Music eventually. And, that affected us, as it did the Fab Four.
Talk about the Indian music influence.
Here's to Zakir Hussain.
We just lost recently.
Did you interview him?
I did not, but I saw him play last year with Shakti, and I'm glad that I did. The last time I'd seen Zakir was in 2018. I went to see him play with a phenomenal set.
For those listeners who don't know, this is Ravi Shankar's drummer's son, greatest tabla player in the world.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, much respect.
Anyway, I used to listen to Ravi Shankar every night before I went to bed.
What was it about the music that spoke to you?
Just seemed right, we were all into the meditation thing at the time, so that kind of stuff was, around a lot, especially in San Francisco. We'd go up there, and there'd always be a lot of Indian music going on.
Didn't we go to the Big Sur together? And we're fooling around with psychedelics, and we walked into Ali Akbar playing live?
Yeah. Actually, the first time that Maharishi came to LA, me, John, and Ray happened to be there. So at my friend's house, Keith Wallace. And nobody had even heard of Maharishi. The
year before the
Beatles never even knew about it. So that was kind of foretelling, the 3 of the 4 doors. And then we brought Jim to one of the meetings one time, and he goes, "Well, I want to check him out,
Yeah, I want to look in his eyes and see if he's got anything."
So he goes, we go up, and he's like, as far as you should look in. He says, "Nah, nothing there."
Well, no, I disagree. I think he thought he had something, but he wasn't going to meditate. I'm not going to meditate.
What do you mean had something? What does that mean?
Mystical something, knowledge, or whatever the fuck,
One of the songs I always wondered about.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Why won't you tell me what she said? What was that promise that you made? Now I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain. I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky for you and I. Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Why won't you tell me what she said? What was that promise that you made? I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain. I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky for you and I.
There's so many great things about this song.
Yeah.
First of all, it's just so musically interesting. All the chord changes in it. The melody is beautiful. The horn arrangement is amazing. It is one incredibly unusual song, too.
I played with the LA Phil, and Gustavo Dudamel told me this is one of his favorites. I don't know what. Oh, you wrote it. Wait a minute, Robby. What was the lyric before it was "Touch Me"? Wait, come on, hit me, babe. Mm-hmm. Jim said, "Robby, that's a little."
I wrote the song was supposed to be about a game of blackjack. Hit me, babe. Right?
Okay.
So Jim thought people were going to take him literally and smack him or something. I guess so. He changed it to "Touch Me."
How did you make it into that kind of a song?
Well, I mean, I had all the chords and stuff.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you know, when I play it, we don't have horns or strings. So, you know, I do a solo and the keyboard guy does it. It's fun to solo, and I don't know why I never got a solo on this dance song. But it's one of my favorite ones that I've ever wrote, I think.
It evolved. The arrangement evolved. So Ray starts going da, 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 and escalating it, modulating, and so I start on the floor tom, you know. Oh, well, let's move it up, and it just evolves. And Harvey Brooks, does he hold the bottom?
The bass line is so good on that.
Yeah.
When it's dun,
Heaven playing with him.
Yeah, he's great.
You have a bass player like that, drummers can play with one arm, you know. It's
obviously the horn arrangement was done later.
Yeah.
So the basic tracks of this is, once again, you guys all playing together in the room.
Yeah.
And did you know that you had something when you heard that bass line going on? You're like, whoa, that's good.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I
This is the one song on that album where I think the horns make it better.
Yeah. I had a hunch like Light My Fire with this one. Oh, how can that not be a hit?
Well, the only thing to me was that Jim, his vocal was so, it was too good. It was like, I mean, you know, it was too Sinatra. You know.
And when he passed, you complained, I don't have the vehicle for my song. So what are you saying?
When they did the horn arrangement on it, were you guys there for it or not?
No, this guy Paul Harris did it. He did "Thrill Is Gone."
Okay.
And
what'd you think when you first heard it?
I mean, you know,
I was there for part of it.
Yeah, we were there for that one. That's true.
And George Harrison walked in and said, "Oh, it's Sergeant Pepper." I remember that.
You did?
Yeah, at Jack's studio.
Well, you know, I made a few minor things, but mostly his stuff was great.
He loves Sinatra. What's the,
What's not to love?
Duh.
Yeah, I know, but it's almost too commercial is what I'm saying.
Right. You're Sorry was #1. Yeah. And we got a lot of shit for Horns and Strings, and it was #1. So,
Yeah, fuck you.
the word critic built in there is criticize.
I want to play another thing here.
And Thunder was recorded by Bruce Botnick, by the way, years before for Elektra Records. And that's Ray's bass line that Jerry's copying.
Right.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm, into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone, riders on the storm.
Great Bill.
There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. Yeah.
Great Bills. So your guitar part harmonizes with Ray's keyboard line, which to me is always brilliant. But just in a way that it's spread out like that, with the harmony being in each speaker. Mm-hmm. The drums, I love the drumming on this. The drums are super full sounding, fat.
I'm going to show you what I was doing.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
I mean, every winter we get airplay because of the rain.
So, Robby, you were saying that the Thunder was recorded.
Yeah, Bruce Botnick, when Elektra was a really small label, they used to do weird stuff like sound effects. Okay, so Bruce would go out in the desert and record the thunder and lightning, stuff like that. And so that's what we used.
We put on the LP, and and so we got continual thunder and rain that Bruce had previously recorded years before. Then we had a machine or two queued up to thunder claps, so we could play God right after a guitar solo or something that we thought was brilliant. We go.
So this is all manually done because you didn't have samplers, right?
Right.
Yeah,
of course.
Right. And that piano solo is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best rock and roll piano parts
ride
ever.
That thing with Ray, whew, man.
And the intro.
Can we do a little bit of playing here and talk about this? Actually, talk about this tune. Talk about some of these grooves and some of the guitar parts.
Sounds good.
Why not?
Riders in the Storm. Let's talk about that. About the groove and the.
Yeah. Normally on this kind of 4/4 groove, the snare would be on 2 and 4, and the ride would play eighth notes like. I don't know why. I made this decision to play the ride cymbal eighth notes on everything. Here, here, and here.
And it became a hit.
You're right. but it gave this feel. I don't know, and the bass line. Remember, Ray had this bass line, but technically, Jerry Scheff couldn't play it because he transferring it to
It didn't
bass
lay on.
strings.
It didn't lay on the bass right, probably.
Right. So he came up with this. Da, 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 da. Thank you, Jerry and Ray. So that's the pocket.
What are you talking about? The bass line's the same as Ray played.
Somebody told me, maybe I saw it in the movie, that Jerry tweaked it because he technically couldn't play it. It was different
Maybe
from
he
that.
couldn't hit the low note, maybe.
Something. It was different from that. Slightly, just a note or two. But yeah, do that again, huh? Or do whatever. Jim, turn around.
Like a dog without a bone, an actor all alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road.
You need the meat of the whole band. But
That is
that's the
such an interesting drum part, and would you say it's with that pulsating kick like that, almost like a big band kind of thing? Maybe.
could be. Yeah. I don't know. I get fed by Robby's melody, or I just by I'm an accompanist. I'm not a solo drummer. When I hear shit, I feel out how to enhance it.
Love me 2 times, baby. Love me twice today. Love me 2 times, girl. I'm gone away. Love me 2 times, girl. 1 for tomorrow, 1 just for today.
Yeah.
Okay, Robby, there with that sharp 9 chord that you're playing there. People didn't really play those things in rock music then. I mean, Hendrix did, but that
James Brown.
James Brown. A lot of these chords that you're playing are really from jazz players. The minor sevenths, the 6/9 chords, stuff like that.
Right.
That's a really signature part of the Doors sound. Is those
Exactly.
kind of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ray, being from Chicago, I mean, he was definitely into the blues guys, B.B. King and all that. But he also was into jazz. I mean, jazz was just as big as blues in Chicago, right?
I want to ask you about Light My Fire. How did you guys work out the arrangement between that?
Well, when I thought of when I was writing the song, I was thinking more folk rock.
Okay.
Folk rock kind of stuff. I'm not folk rock, but I don't know.
More like a strummed guitar or something?
Some mamas and papas.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, he immediately decided it should be Latin, right?
When's the last time you guys jammed together?
Years.
How many years? What do you think?
Several.
Well, we played at the Wiltern.
Oh yeah. With Micah, yeah. The benefit for the homeless. Yeah.
But actually,
Not
just
like
jamming.
this is free, but
Yeah.
you know, we
haven't
listen
done
to
that
each
for
other.
Years.
That's fun.
You can tell.
Messy, fun.
It's really amazing to hear you guys play. Really, it's
Thanks, man.
hard to imagine that I'm sitting here with you guys when you're jamming.
Well,
It's an AI. It's a movie. I feel healed.
Yeah, it's funny you guys have actually joked about AI a couple times, or John has joked about AI. What do you guys think of?
Oh fuck.
You don't like AI?
I know it's helpful in some areas. It disturbs.
What about
It disturbs me a little when they can go. I'd like to write something like The Doors, and then they get.
And then somebody has a
synthetic.
Jim Morrison modeled voice,
Yeah.
right? That they.
I don't.
Is that something that you guys would?
The future's uncertain.
I mean, would that bother you guys to hear something like that?
Well, if we were getting paid for it.
Okay, and what is a fair? What is a fair?
Okay, what's fair is that there's a payment, a percentage or something, of the source material. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then go crazy. Fine.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it really.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been an honor to sit here with you, and I really thank you so much.
Aren't you going to play Spanish Caribbean?